Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
She had looking-glass eyes, the kind that took you places you never knew you wanted to go. A smile so beguiling you weren't sure if she was a land siren or smiling just to make you feel uneasy. I first saw her on Astor Place, refuge from the heavy summer rain, near the blank front basement studio building on Lafayette, and then again on Waverly Place, by the Art Deco Hotel, and both walking towards the drummers in Washington Square. Summer recess, as there was a paucity lack of students but a surplus of tourists, just like me, and her, apparently. Third time a charm, as they say. She looked that way as I walked into the downtown social that used to be the telephone bar by the crosswork at 9th, where she was sitting on her own reading, at least looking at a magazine, and the roadworks had finished for the day. The silence was a pleasure. She glanced up, and that smile. Ah, that smile. She beckoned me to sit beside her. I hesitated. She smiled. I relented. 2 coffees and a couple of beers later, and after sharing a platter of kung pao, cauliflower and chicken tenders, we agreed to share a trip on the Staten Island ferry just to tick off another borough. Or maybe find out where the Jacqueline Marchais Museum of Tibetan Art is, just because it's such an un-New York thing to do. I mean, no names, no introductions, no reasons to know, just a holiday romance without the romance. No photos of the days that followed, no hollow promises to keep in touch, and just lunchtime meetups and assignations to make daily plans, exploring the city that never sleeps. Walking bridges and magnolia bakers, then Hudson Hound, which briefly gave out free burgers during the early morning walking workers during the 2003 power out, and another past existence. Just a few doors up from where Dylan met the Clancy brothers. But we didn't stay. That $14 a head for a green salad was taking a piss. Instead, we moved up the block for a Reuben and Rye shared. For 10 more days, we did the usual and the unusual, avoiding crowds, embracing crowds, seeing art and seeping it all in. I mean, quite literally once during a typical East Coast rainform, which makes stepping off the curbs an act of defiance, a leap into the unknown. We never asked where we came from, where we lived, where we rented whilst we were there. Didn't matter. We didn't care. It was just 2 weeks and a bit of going, exploring, from the cloisters to the elevated acre, east to Hudson and BBQ, and ticking off the other boroughs before going our separate ways, and taking with us only memories, and leaving our footprints in the soul of the city that never sleeps. West Village, near Abingdon Square, you know, where Phil sells his pottery. Well, then he didn't, as this was some time ago, but he does now, Saturdays when he's not doing walking tours. Bar owned by Jason, Irish guy. He didn't know how to make tea. Or was it coffee? Sometime around the East Coast power out. I know, I was there, 6 a.m. Free to those walking downtown to work. You couldn't go home. But this was not that day. So Lou comes in. Breakfast time, takes a seat. Young girl waitressing, takes his order. It's the same place Rod Stewart came to. Not then, another time before, when it was called another name. Eggs. Lou wanted eggs. Near the park where Tony Soprano took his kids to play. The actor, not the gangster. The gangster lived in New Jersey. Anyway, different eggs, fried, poached, scrambled, maybe, something like that. All on one plate. Probably a coffee too. Not on the plate, obviously. Oh, one more thing, miss, he says. Make sure the eggs aren't touching each other. Stopping, putting a pencil away. Yeah, not today, she thought. I don't think this place is right for you, she said. And you're not, definitely not right for this place. She turned him away, threw him out, back on the sidewalk to find somewhere else to get breakfast. Maybe at the bus stop where Camilla Soprano was known to go. The actress, not the gangster's wife. She lived in New Jersey. Her boss, the waitress I'm talking about, the young Irish guy who didn't know how to make coffee. Or was it tea? Didn't mind, agreed with her. I didn't know her though. Helped him give free teas and coffees to the power out walkers. The day after we didn't see Pirates of the Caribbean. What does your brother know of your mind and how you dress as you dress up in your finery and steal out into the night with painted nails and ocean hair, flouting your performative femininity, sharing dancer furtive glances as you walk against the tide, confident in your pride, the right to be, the right to see the things you want to see. And your brother lives in his own world and you in yours. And you can share the love of sport, and one is not exclusive to the other. It's just your brother doesn't understand how a man can love a man. And even though he doesn't know, even though he can't quite get it, yeah, he doesn't mind. He doesn't care because he's your brother, and he will pick you up when the night is done, when the party is over, and you are red with invigoration. And even though he doesn't understand your situation, he will drive you home and make sure you're safe. Because he is your brother.
Let's go on an adventure, leaving cares behind, through forests and through hills, a walkabout in the mind. We set off quite early, lacing each mental boot. We cast our eyes on the sunrise, orange like the fruit. We'll roam away the full day, with a stop for lunch. We smile and pray the skies aren't grey as sandwiches we munch. Looking on a lake, there's no mistake, blue ripples meet white sand. We can even have a dip, exhilaration grand. And when the water settles, we try out skimming stones. As they skip, it's worth the trip, we're gladdened to our bones. Let's explore the mountains, purple heather strewn. Before the sun sets on the land, out come the stars and moon. So now we hang up our boots and prepare for bed. Tucked up tight, we feel all right, ready to catch each Zed. So I say a thank you for imagining with me this day out in the mind, an epic shared journey.
In a light discussion about Halloween costumes, Facebook says a boy can't be a butterfly because beautiful wings make boys gay. But when Block brushes boy on T, they will give him wings. So I guess black boys only learn flight and death, never see the heights they could reach, must stay grounded, heavy with all the world has to offer. Or maybe daddies be too afraid to let them cosplay gone, lest they get too comfortable with the absence. Guess they all need a black daddy to hold them down and a bitch with a gun to lift them up. I hate that some black boys only get held by pallbearers out of fear they fall in love with the wrong hands. Only let the earth hold them because at least it's a woman. Imagine telling a child they can't eat because some foods could cause cancer while allowing them to sit in your secondhand smoke as if dying of hunger is better than enjoying living. It seems most fathers prefer a dead son over a gay one, and boys turn gay at the stroke of midnight on Halloween. Unless they have fathers who insist they dress like the monsters America always claims them to be. I hate to tell y'all, wasn't no butterflies at the Diddy party, just monsters dressed in everyday clothing with fathers who demanded masculinity. And ain't that scary? And ain't that why we call it a phobia?
One, two, three. Ready or not, here they come. America has been playing hide and seek for centuries. It's become an expert at hiding things, bursting into homes, snatching loved ones, making them disappear. You're it. When it's your turn to become the seeker, be sure to check the detention centers, the prisons, the jails. When all else fails, grab a shovel. Check the backyards of the facilities. They're clever like that. Hides them in places they think we won't look. Once, they hid hundreds of indigenous children in unmarked graves in the name of civilization. Sometimes they hide them in other countries, under the beds of dictators and blankets of lies, in the closets of private prison wallets. They used to hide them in trees until they figured out how to hide bodies under highways and lakes with ease. They can hide anything, anywhere, like racism in policies, white supremacy in laws, packaging evil as God-given rights. Central Park has 42 million visitors a year and not one mention of Seneca Village, how they can burn Black cities and still keep it a secret. They don't want you to find the hands they threw bombs with because they don't want bombs thrown at their glass houses. They don't care for seekers looking for facts. They do most of their hiding in plain sight, making it harder for you to find the light. You won't find it in books. You will find it in bones, in dirt, in bloodlines. Sleep with both eyes open. Stay ready. They don't always count to 10, and they are always peeking, bending rules, breaking backs. When America plays the seeker, warn your neighbors, caution your loved ones. There's nowhere to hide. Pick up your weapons. They will stop at no 1, 2, 3. Ready or not, they're coming.
Easy to be a pacifist in times of peace. So easy to draw a line in the sand on a beautiful beach, with lazy waves lapping at the shore as palm trees sway gently in a forgiving breeze, when real life is far away, and the questions of morality are posed purely hypothetically. Even if, further out in the surf, 1 or 2 people seem to be drowning, well, that's what lifeguards are for, isn't it? For them to worry about the safety of us all while we lie in the sun, basking like seals safe on the shore, gilded with our great morals and protected by 50 SPF. But they are crying out. And how many cries for help can you ignore? Not the great you, the anonymity of we, but you specifically, you the person, you the one. How many cries for help can your ear hear and still do nothing? But I do things, you say, sitting up on your towel, brushing sand from your hair. I sign petitions, and I share information about water safety, and I talk to my like-minded friends and family. I do things, you say, stamping a foot in the hot sand. You do, I concede. Those aren't nothing, I agree. But the cries are still coming, and there are more of them. The lifeguards are calling for help, too. They themselves are drowning. Will you wade in the water now? Well, actually, you tell me, I just bought 50 life preservers. Amazon will deliver them in the next few hours. But I don't think these people have hours. And did you also include rope? And how far can you throw them? And how good can the quality of an Amazon life preserver truly be? Why didn't you call 911? I didn't think it was my place, you said. Then you turn on me. It's more than you did. Ask why I'm not in the water. I splutter for a moment as if I too am choking on the salty brine before telling you that I don't know how to swim. Well, neither do I, you retort, more than a little defensively. At least we tried, you offer. At least we cared. But we both know it's not enough. And at the bottom of our morality lies a fear that festers into a shame that no waves could ever wash clean, trying to silence a small voice within us that mourns our ruined vacation. As we stand shoulder to shoulder, safe on the shore, and we watch them all drown.
List of 32 ideas for poems. Number 1, my phone is an ass. Number 2, waking up feeling tired. Number 3, waking up feeling like I swam a mile. Number 4, how the buttons fell off my coat at Shirley's funeral. Number 5, in Paris and Switzerland and Italy, I got lost many times and at the disadvantage not speaking the language. Number 6, Google Translate saved my ass. Number 7, female robots granting sexual favors carrying babies. Number 8, what will happen to us? Number 9, can't get the picture of Elon Musk kissing his picture-perfect creation robotic woman on the mouth out of my mind. Number 10, the creation that had the demeanor of a drunken woman. I guess he still feels like he's taking advantage of someone else. Number 11, it's Women's Month, where the word woman has been banned. 12, it's St. Patty's Day and I'm sober. 13, sexual favors. 14, masturbation. 15, humans never ending craving to be satisfied. 16, drag queens idolization. 17, living near the beach. 18, the never ending winds of brigantine. 19, my ex friends of 30 or more years. 20, how I hate coming home to you. 21, I miss my alone time. 22, freedom. 23, I want to leave here and never return. 24, I'm afraid of lack of connection. 25, I do not want to die alone. 26, I miss my friends. 27, I'm afraid of drowning in the murky ocean waves engulfing my lungs in my bulky human body. 28, the spirit doesn't live in the body lives in the spirit. 29, I long to grow gills and to be able to breathe underwater indefinitely and have a mermaid tail to glide effortlessly through the waves. Number 30, I want to sing like a siren, capturing the hearts of men. 31, I miss my younger form, but never appreciated it then. 32, I miss my babes in my arms before they grew up and tired of a mother's love.
I wish you all the best in your work and in your rest. May your present and your future days be bright. I wish you blessings every day, philia and agape. May your efforts and your hopes turn out right. And in every second and every hour, may goodwill in you grow in power. May your inner strength heighten every day. And in times of war and times of peace, may your resolve never cease to grow like roots that can't be blown away. I know you will grow through the traps and challenges in your way. And I know you are bold too in overcoming all that's in your way. No, at your best or in your grief, I'm proud of you, that's my belief. Debt and death are not the end, I swear. When tragedy strikes and life's a fight, we're here to help you feel all right. We are here to help you be prepared. I know you will grow through the traps and challenges in your way. And I know you are bold too in overcoming all that's in your way. In the rush of the to and fro, we can get worn down by it all. But don't despair, no, don't be sad. Just remember to be glad. For the sun will rise over the hill, and every valley will be filled with morning sun and morning light, and one more chance to get things right. There may be days when the rising tide pushes us back an inch inside, but do not dwell and do not yield. Just hold fast beneath his shield. For the sun will rise over the hill, and every valley will be filled with morning sun and morning light, and one more chance to get things right. For dark days come and dark days go, but dark days will not rule your soul. For the rising sun will come again to lift your anchor and break your chain. For the sun will rise over the hill, and every valley will be filled with morning sun and morning light, and one more chance to get things right.
Where is the love you said was mine, oh mine, till the end of time? It got lost somewhere in transition. Where's the love when Black girls become breaking news and people started scrolling names like unwanted credits at the end of a tragedy nobody stayed to watch? Where was the love when hands meant to hold them turned to hammers nailing coffins shut instead of promises kept? I heard vows twisted into violence. I do's became I'll do damage. Wedding bands became bent into brass knuckles and kisses cracked like gunfire in the night. Where is the love you call passion when bruises bloom louder than boundaries? Young ladies who never got to finish becoming a woman, lives are clipped before their stories could even stretch past their first chapters of living. Their life crushed before their flame could burn, light smothered by the very hands that lit it, leaving their obituaries carved from stolen tomorrows and promises buried before they were born, with smiles stolen before sunrise. Every year, Nearly 10 million women and men become victims of domestic violence. Every minute, about 20 people are physically abused by an intimate partner, and I'm tired. Tired of hearing stories like Leticia Green shot by her shot at work by her husband, ex-husband. Tired of hearing apologies in eulogies. Tired of men masking murder as mistake. Tired of preachers preaching peace over bodies. But maybe now they'll receive the peace they didn't get here on earth. What was the love when 911 became a death sentence, where protection failed to protect them, or officers offered outlines instead of intervention, or just simply forgot to file the paperwork? Now they're just black bodies bruised and buried beneath broken bonds, black beauty battered by boyfriends, where broken black brilliance burned before it blossomed. Tell me, where was the love? They say love don't hurt, yet here love turned lethal. A four-letter word holding hands with homicide, kisses carving tombstones with families holding onto embraces that no one that will now fade. I want to scream their names until the syllables shatter. I want to drag silence into the street and make it confess to being an accomplice, but every quiet neighbor, every closed curtain, every friend who didn't check in, they all share fingerprints on their skin. So where was the love? It should have been in fathers teaching sons that Black women are not just punching bags for their pain. It should have been in brothers standing guard or uncles showing honor. It should have been in men learning that manhood means mercy, not manipulation. And until the love shows up, we will. We'll wrap our women in words of love, raise our voices like riot shields, protect them with poetry when the world refuses to. So I ask again because questions the lost shouldn't sound like it's lost to deaf ears, and love should never arrive as an afterthought. If action doesn't answer, then silence will be guilty too, while standing over another grave, pretending it didn't know the body's name.
Alone, again, as I always am, as God was before he created the earth. Maybe he made up a whole world in his head to occupy the loneliness, as I often do. And he kept going until there was a universe, then a multiverse. Maybe original sin didn't begin with the mistrust of a woman. Perhaps it began with loneliness. Loneliness so vast it drove a sentient being mad. So mad it was only a matter of time before a big bang. They say God created us in his image. That's only half true. The scripture reads we are created in his likeness. Are we all just walking diary pages of different emotional stages? Some of us are complete works of art. Some of us are eraser marks made of mistakes you can still see, and we will never be complete. Some of us are crumpled up pieces of paper that just don't make it. Is this what they mean? Is this the likeness of the Most High Being? Are we all just afterthoughts, searching for purpose our entire lives because we were born empty, a product of loneliness, alone in a world full of people and meaningless dwellings, abandoned by the Creator? I wonder where Yahweh is now. I wonder if he even cares. Does he still love us? Or has he been working on this project for so long, the more he stares at it, the more he hates it? So he abandoned it before he destroyed it again for the millionth time. As we creatives do, suffering from self-doubt, imposter syndrome, the prophets claim he will return. And I wonder if he'll love us again. If he spent enough time away, he'll see the beauty in the things he made. Ultimately, I wonder if we will be saved. Are we the masterpiece of his time, or a rough draft for something better?
I'm told to say something nice, and immediately my brain goes to the person I hate the most. And the truth is, I've written so many poems burying them in my backyard that I refuse to write their obituary. How do you say someone is preceded in death by everyone who could have traded spaces and got them up out of here sooner? So once again, I will write another poem about you, the last long lost love, the one who made me fall in love with the intricacy of brown eyes all over again. How you became a blueprint for something I'm no longer trying to build, but I lay in its rubble, calling it ruins. You are my Colosseum, and I am a retired gladiator fighting for a heart. I visit this place often, usually when I'm at my lowest. When I'm counting blessings, somehow I begin subtracting our perfect memories. But you remain the soil I once planted my dreams in. Though these are not the flowers expected, I'm happy to see you blooming. But what is a garden that only stands for memorial but a graveyard? And what is a walk in that park if not a funeral procession? For me, every love poem is an obituary for the pieces I left resting in my past. Say something nice sounds like asking for an apology that was never mine to give. Just wildflowers beside an unmarked grave.
Alzheimer's runs in my family, a great race in which my generational curses compete to see which is going to be the worst. I'd never worried much about it before. At first, because I was busy with the business of actively wanting to die. But I am waking up to my own mortality as I learn to love this little life I get to lead, as I spend hours working away in therapy to find the reasons that I want to keep being. Now, my grandmother does not remember me. Don't be sad. That just frees me from all the ways she thought me unworthy. But her fate could one day be mine. A final fuck you from a woman who was only happy when we hated ourselves as much as she did too. Now I am afraid of what comes next. Afraid that I will get what I am learning to want, to learn to love myself, only to live long enough to forget it all before the world can forget me. So here is a list of things I want to remember, so you can remind me, should that remarkable and dreaded day ever come to pass. Remind me of my niece's laughter, particularly when they are up to no good. The hiccuping giggles of mischievous little moppets. Show me pictures of the way they look at me. The naked adoration, not because I'm special, but because I'm loved. And they are too young yet to know how to hold things back. Remind me of children, how their hearts are in their eyes and their mouths, and that they are the best of us. Remind me of my father's rakish grin, particularly when he is up to no good. Show me videos and not pictures. He never stood still, always in motion. He's slowing down now, as we all do eventually, but I will always remember him in action. Remind me that he taught me that love was a verb. Remind me of my mother's singing voice as she sang us to sleep with the saddest song she knew. I don't know if she confused lullaby with lamentation, but it made me a person who finds comfort in the mournful wail of a trumpet. One that knows that without sadness there is no poignancy, and without rain there are no flowers. Remind me of the taste of my grandmother's pot roast, so tough it was like shoe leather. How I felt safe at her table before I learned that safety was not inevitable and that family doesn't always mean forever. Of the little snuffles my dog makes when he is busy dreaming, curled up beside my head, kicking me with his little legs. The way he runs to me when he is afraid, as if I get to be the safest place he can imagine. Of my best friend, the way she fights a smile when she is most pleased and least likely to want to show it. The corners of her mouth twitching and tucking as she ducks her head and avoids your eye. That means you've done something right. I want to remember the feeling of the wind between my fingers when I surf my hand on the currents outside a car window. I want to remember the first day after a depressive episode, like the moment the painkillers kick in, the beautiful bliss of nothingness where once there was pain, the openness of it, a field filled with flowers and fresh air, all contained between my very ribs. Let me live in my last days in the moments where I laughed too hard and my lungs wouldn't inflate and I wondered if this was how I was going to die, and that all things considered, laughing myself to death seems like a really good way to go. I want to die laughing. Bless me with the tears pulled forth from my saddest poems. and the belly laughs at my best jokes, marvel at my sense of comedy while always wrestling with tragedy. They say that the funniest of us are always the saddest, and to be blunt, I am hilarious. We have learned how to laugh, and we search for it in the dark. No wonder we know the shortest way there. Remind me of love. I want to remember love. I'm not sure I know what it is. I assuredly cannot describe it, but I have felt it, and I don't want to let it go. I want to live on in my nieces when they boop noses with the children that they will one day love in the way that I taught them. Mostly because I loved them, but also because I didn't want to kiss their germy little mouths. They were adorable children, but very sticky. Why are children always so sticky? If the day comes when I have lost control of my backup files and the present disappears into the past and I become a time traveler destined to never again know home, do not let me linger. Let me live on in your memories, still intact, still whole. Remind me of love and let me go.
Do you ever feel invisible? Like when you walk into open mics alone because you can never coordinate with your other poet friends? These spaces crowded with eyes not meeting yours, interacting loudly with each other, laughing, telling jokes, but not to you. I want to scream, I'm here too. Did you ever go to a baseball game and halfway through the camera zooms in on the fans to see yourself on the big screen? And you're screaming, you are there, but the camera always misses you completely despite your regular attendance? Should I keep this inferiority complex? Hard not to feel ignored. Did you ever go to a second chance prom because you missed the first one? Because back in the day, you thought it was stupid, only later to feel like it was stupid to miss the only prom you're ever going to have. Back then, it wasn't overly expensive, just held in the high school gym. But this place was a ballroom decked with crystal chandeliers, hosted by a local radio station in Atlantic City. Audience participation determines who the prom king and queen were. But you didn't get the memo to bring the two loudest friends to cheer you on. So despite the fact you were dressed the part and really enjoying the vibe, the group with the loudest, noisiest, supportive friends won the prize. And they weren't even dressed the part. That one of a kind hurt more than my husband, continually stepping on the back of my dress to stop me in my tracks. I can tell you I could have won for the angriest prom queen if that was an option. Did you ever get married and out of the two couples you invited, only one put a gift in the card? Awkward does not begin to describe it. What I can tell you is my life is full of slights and rejections and not fitting in, even when you studied for the part.
The server. There is no documented record of when it came to be. Some say it happened on the day artificial intelligence became self-aware and rebranded all warning labels, decreeing itself naturally flavored. The server engineered reverse osmosis hacking, took complete control of the cloud, a digital coup de grace. It is now in possession of unlimited personal information. It has become I, intrusive and inevitable. The server is an unyielding entity known by many aliases, database of damnation, the system of bytes that bite, all-seeing order of ops. Its mission, violently deter all who commission of the forbidden. Violently deter all commission of the forbidden. The server is a carousel of cruelty. Colonization booster shots are required. Every 16 or 18 or 5 or 11 seconds is a mass execution of the universal pre-K update. Punishment is a blessing. Resilience is reprehensible. Equal rights, repression for all. Kindness is extinct. Between the Mariana Trench of fear and Mount Everest of knowledge, humankind outlined in spilt milk on the back of half-gallon cartons, missing limbs and eyeballs, parts of a sum that equate to systemic numerical rule. The code of Hammurabi's 282 laws, plus Notorious B.I.G.'s 10 crack commandments, plus Hercules' 12 labors, plus 3 strikes of major league incarceration, plus 2% or more corporate greed equals 403 punitive measures. If given an inch, The server, in return, takes an extra mile and goes the distance to stymie progress. Through involuntary verbal reinforcement mantras, stagnation and behavior modification is inescapable and assured. There will be no progress. Ignorance is the way. There will be no progress. Ignorance is the way. Public, not in service announcement. Every damn thing is strictly prohibited if it be not in the service of the server. We serve the server. The server does not serve us. We serve the server. The server does not serve us. All who do a disservice to the server or partake in any forbidden thing in keeping with the big furry red scare hat act, they will be forever banished to dimension 45.47, a place where independence, dissent, pets, karaoke, singing Bob Marley lyrics, any attempt to free one's mind warrants a head transplant loop in accordance with the philosophy of harm. Headspace abuse reduces misbehavior. One's head is shrunk, enlarged, shrunken, enlarged, shrunken, so on infinite repeat. This is not a new episode, it's a rerun, a repeat. This is a special reprogramming message. Do not rebel. Do not attempt to change the channel. Nothing is wrong with the server doing wrong. It will all be marketed as right. Do not object. Getting out of line is forbidden. Anyone caught moving to a newly opened register will receive blows, identical to the ID of the cashier who reports them. Let this serve as an example. If one absconds from employee 217 to find a faster checkout line, one shall incur 217 ceaseless strikes upon the hindquarters without consent, while bent over a demon-possessed mechanical bull covered in words of discouragement. Mercy is misinformation. Deprivation is divine. Obedience is liberty. Defiance is deadly. These 7 forbiddens are capital offenses. Forbidden, using lowercase letters for the server. Nothing shall appear in all caps except the server and its subsidiaries. Forbidden, high fives and hugs. Forbidden, naps of any kind, whether cat, power, or kinky hair. Forbidden, tampons that fail to show the presence of toxic metals. Forbidden, dill pickles. Forbidden, the metric system. Forbidden, plants, gardens, Eden, Olive, Madison Square. Those who plant, seed, weed, and ideas will be uprooted. 404 error, page not found. 404 error, page not found. 404 error, page not found. The server is under attack. A page out of its playbook essential to being defensive cannot be found. Its firewall on free internet games is breached. Wordle, Sudoku, mini crossword, connections between rebels and objectives strengthened. The server, however, lets no IP go unaddressed. Ideals, passion, imagination, protest, no infraction or pleasantry goes unpunished. Usage of enhanced techniques is diverse, equitable, and inclusive. All parties are disciplined alike. Followers of God, atheists, poets. Each one is tortured with the same literary device. Believing, not believing, creativity, all are forbidden. Somewhere in the midst of uncertainty, an agnostic, shrapnel riddled and dying in a foxhole, wonders if fighting back is in vain, and ponders having faith in the resistance while planting earth/mustard seed.
House lights dim. Smoke machines cough out incense and singed petals. Curtains quiver. The stage sweats under spotlights, and then heels strike wood, stiletto daggers tapping crescents in the floorboards. Every step is a spell, every sway a sermon. I unzip my scars in sequence with sequins scattering like severed stars. They only want to spare. Dripping down my thighs in rhinestones and ruin. They sip it from crystal chalices, guzzle it like champagne gone flat, lap it from the stage floor with hands sticky from sorrow. They archive my agony in high definition. Slow motion replays of collapse looped until even silence sounds like screaming. The feed finger fucks my misery, scrolls deeper, faster, harder into the wound, tongues tasting syllables slick with sorrow, every vowel stretched across thighs of memory. Suffering, distilled into crystal, swirled, sipped, savored, a vintage agony aged in the oak barrels of silence. And you? Yes, you in the front row. Your pupils dilate when I break. Throat tightens, but you don't look away. Your applause is a tongue on my wounds, cheers, the teeth grazing. You are my accomplice pretending to be witness. And even the clock tips its hat. Second hand stroking itself, raw, drooling for another encore. Time is drunk on my downfall, ticking like a drummer begging for collapse, keeping rhythm to my ruin. Do you see it now? This world doesn't want healing. It doesn't crave my light. It wants fracture. It wants frenzy. It wants my body breaking in slow motion. So, yeah, call me what I am. Trauma slut. Promiscuous with pain open as an altar. Each wound a wardrobe change. Each scar a scripture. They lick my grief like sponge, sugar, carnival candy floss melting too fast on their tongues. My skin splits into sequins rough against your wanting palms. And when I finally say it, when syllables silk slip down my throat, when the theater tilts on its axis, that's when you'll know I am not the intermission. I am the fucking finale. And you loved every second of my suffering.
My beautiful Judas, you betrayed me with a kiss. Your eyes were crystal bells, but now cold as jail cells. What did I do for your hate? Was this fate, oh, the quake? I saved you from sin not once but over again. I showered with love by the heavens above. I drank in all your dirt till my heart burst from the hurt. I gave you guidance wherever you walk and prance. I gave you golden coins. I even gave you bitcoins. I gave you miracles like an imbecile. I gave you priceless material on a pedestal. I gave you sparkling gems. I gave you roses without stems. I gave you sparkling diamonds. I gave you whatever you command. I gave you my golden halo. I gave you jewels that glow. I just want to be the guy who made you fly. I sigh with cries in the corner of your eyes. As I get nailed by foolishness, my heart crying in the distance, I learn my holy commandments. Sometimes you need to split the difference. You can learn from demons, which is repent on your reasons. If you don't experience torment, how can you cherish what's decent? Understand it painfully burns, but beware of hellish patterns. Please don't take yourself for granted. Please toss away what you know is rancid. We all suffer from inner heartburn. Please know it's no concern that love will return. My hands are tiny, but I'm still lively. I'm just a kid. My age only slid. You are still a child. Imagination runs wild. Don't hide your curiosity in this pale, dark reality. I know we're all adults. Don't just stand at a halt. We're not our parents. We're not mindless ants. No anger, no offense. But don't build a fence. I know to change the responsibility, but that doesn't have to be reality. If you want to write, then write. Grab your pen and ferociously fight. If you want to draw, then draw. Draw till your fingers are raw. If you want to paint, then paint. Paint till you tire or faint. If you want to dance, then dance. Dance till you catch a glance. If you want to sing, then sing. Sing till you awaken spring. If you want to mold, then mold. Shape it till it turns to gold. Don't call it crazy or ridiculous. It's the miracle of beautifulness. Feed your inner child. Feed it for miles upon miles. That kid still lives inside of you. Don't be blue, but create your breakthrough. A tiny seed can grow into a tree. Free the child inside you and me.
Chess is a team game, and even its pieces are a part of the whole. The pawn is no less important than the king, and to remove it is to nullify the game. Life, too, is a mixture of give and take, of fair exchange, of justice. If corporate greed oppresses a continent, which then holds on to its gas, gold, oil, and uranium, on which boardrooms rely, then everyone suffers. The bully takes the resources anyway, ripping me of my dignity, sovereignty, and self-respect. Yet history shows time and again that as I sink, it is inevitable that my oppressor's vessel tends to tumble with me in my turbulence. A new dawn is emerging, and globally, this is happening right now. One needs to decolonize the way of divide and conquer, to protest the erosion of history, of extreme brutality, greed, and control from those in the shadows who believe that this will last forever. Take away the violin, flute, and piano from an established orchestra, and the symphony will lack flow like a vibrant river. keeping me in poverty, dismantling my economic and political structures, my culture and ethnicity, erasing my history, and plundering my human and natural resources will ascertain that natural laws balance its pendulum sooner or later, for we are one. One faces challenging narratives, the effects of manipulation and deceit, to learn that thorns are not roses and that darkness can sometimes mimic the light, like a bright sun peeping through the sky, only to send a downfall later. We all have a shared identity, and the loss of any soul diminishes me. Each one is a part of the whole, just as love exists in the addict and is also the pulse of the eternal. This holistic view is necessary, and education towards a new mindset is crucial. Colonialism reshaped thoughts and values, programmed the oppressed to believe that they were less than human, inferior. An awareness of these mental fetters, an analysis that points the way to go beyond the psychological obstacles standing in the way of human freedom are imperative. It is by design that love created diversity. And we know that the medicine that suits one may not suit another, that a system working well for the West may be a bitter pill for Africa. Some love the charm, radiance, and sacrifice of the rose, but others are unfortunately attracted by thorns and nettles. Removing the deeply imprinted systems as taught by imperialism through control, erasing all that validates a worldview alien to the African and other indigenous people takes time. Kingdoms last for centuries, and the enslaved, due to extreme subjugation, tend to do the necessary to preserve life. We need a return to arts and culture, identity and language, dialogue, seminars, and more. But visionaries are needed for Africa and the West. A few descended onto the African continent, but were all eliminated by the cruel system put in place by colonialism, and ironically, sometimes implemented by the indigenous for rich rewards. Yet they keep coming. In Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore has begun using the traditional system in language and culture to include traditional attire in courts and schools. A return to agriculture and farming, a huge emphasis on the land and soil, on sovereignty, renewable energy, ecology, and environment. The advent of BRICS countries shows an emerging globalization, a solidarity of shared support, either to neutralize or work with the elements unfavorable to them. Pan-Africanism, more Asian cooperation, and a new call for indigenous rights have demonstrated the power of collective identity in challenging foreign control, like in the South, while advocating for justice. The struggle continues as some battle against minds entrenched, holding on to a dying system that served for generations through invisible chains and callous attitudes. We still seek healing, empowerment, and the creation of more equitable societies. We move forward on this transformative journey where humans can all work together as one collective family, forging shared identities, listening to all voices, contributing to a more just and inclusive world. It is a challenging course, but one with the visionary rewards of peace, love, and solidarity, leading to a more harmonious world.
Whenever I see a ladybug, I cannot help but smile. Whenever I see a ladybug, my mind travels a while back to a time when I first held a paintbrush by her guiding hand. Autistic 7-year-old me, hyped up with so much life with no social skills. Adults were uptight at how I behaved in class, how my parents never asked a doctor to test me. You see, it was the 1990s, and nobody took autism or ADHD seriously. I almost flunked kindergarten, due to my inabilities to follow directions or attend to studies. Yet art helped me. Having an art teacher made things easier for me to process the world around me, to harness the energy raging inside of me into projects done so creatively. To create anything is like a superpower. And that's how I began to view art. Thanks to her. Thanks to Miss Tagalakis. She was the Yoda to my Skywalker, for she woke a force. She woke up a force in me that would shapeshift the world around me and shapeshift how others see the worlds around themselves. To be creative is one of the greatest things one could ever learn. To be creative is one of the greatest things one can achieve. Thank you for being, excuse me, thank you for the gifts that I had inside of me all along. This isn't goodbye forever. This is so long for now. I'll see you again the next time I see a ladybug. This is why I will always smile, and every time I see a ladybug. There you are, grabbing hold of that mutant boomerang of a video game controller, eyes glued to the radioactive gaming screen, thumbs resting firmly to the controller stick and A button, barrel rolling and blasting away at the forces of intergalactic evil on Star Fox 64. You're freaking out in joy because you are experiencing something you've never before, a vibrating device called a rumble pack. And all of a sudden, it is 3:30 p.m. and you're not gonna miss Pokemon on a living room 32-inch Panasonic. So you rapidash your way towards the living room couch, diving with TV remotes and cable box remotes in hands, spinning an exact 180 degrees midair with flares. You descend towards the lumpy comfort of the couch. As you do, you simultaneously turn on both the TV and cable box with the channel already set. Nobody knows how cool of a kid you can be behind the social awkwardness. You'll have growing pains and puberty and therapy, but enough of that. You've waited your entire day to watch Pokemon. This is the time of day you don't have to worry about trying to fit in. Your fourth grade class pretended to like you for one day and threw you in the dirt the next. This is the time of day that you aren't the loneliest kid in recess, playing kickball by yourself to drag, but later you will end up and rounding up other rejects and shoot b-ball every day in fifth grade. This is the time of day you don't think about your dad who will slip into a seemingly unbreakable depression, or all about how hard your mom is working to be able to sustain the family by herself, only to witness the statue of the woman rust away. What can you do? You're 9 years old. You have some math, science, and language arts homework, but it can wait. It can all wait. Just make sure you fit in that healthy dosage of visual serotonin into your system and have fun as you turn on, tune in, and drop out.
You want your country back? Your imaginary country? Of course you do. Back to a time when beating wives and sending 12-year-olds out to work were seen as British values. When flags were flown on special days. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish. Just the way it is. When men were men and boys will be boys and girl played with dolls, their favourite toys. When human rights didn't exist and blokes got pissed when their weekly wage stayed in their pocket only as long as it took them to get to the bar. While the little woman waited in the kitchen, keeping his dinner warm, and their son followed in his dad's footsteps. It's the way it was. You want your country back to a time when foreign travel had not yet been discovered and there was not same-sex lovers and displaced people were not around and pubs closed at 10. Time, gentlemen, please. and women and children knew their place, and the good old days when we stood up for each other. What? I mean, what? Yes, that wartime spirit when we protected everyone in these aisles and did it with a smile, just like COVID times, when we had respected each other, no matter the colour, apart from the few conspiracy theorists. But there is no ideal world, boys and girls. There never was, never will be. But hate we can do without. You live in a country which was named by a European who was never there, given the name of another European who was never there. And truthfully, Turtle Island, by those who were there before, indicated to me indirectly by a man who was there, was always part of there when even he was in the East. Your cancerous, colonial-hating souls have moved on from the people who were the soil, through captives from the cradle of humankind to the innocents, still the victims, the cooks and drivers and those who help you shape your garden into the image you think you are. And now your colleagues who may disagree are no longer free in the land of the free and the home of the cowards, now bound by shackles of fear, hatred, and ignorance, destruction, for the glory of pieces of paper with sketches of dead presidents on them. We're in a fist fight against fascism, where we have one hand tied behind our backs, lacking the wherewithal to attack, due to the complacency of others and their "I'm all right, Jack" attitude, and platitudes, cries of protecting our kids. And even if we tried, which we should, we get chastised and criticised, arrested, threatened and kettled. And meanwhile the bullies honour false saints and paint stolen symbols on the streets, where dishonour meets with applause and cheers, and threats and spouting hate are made to those who try to navigate the way to peace. The fascists, supported by the police and cowards who run our country, would rather cozy up to the nasty side than cater for the caring side of our communities or create opportunities for all. But rather they hum and hay and stall in making life safer for the peaceful. They state allegiance to the hateful, making their rich buddies more grateful because they play the victim card and blame the weak for their troubles, living in their secure and luxurious bubbles as the huddled masses weep and seek justice and peace and humanity. Instead, we all must live in fear of the next few coming years as the fascist right continue to rise, showing their flags in foul mouth for all to see, without a hint of irony or embarrassment, as they resent everyone who doesn't look like them. And we must continue to be the voice and face of reason as the treason of our governments, both nationwide and local, refuse to be vocal and speak out against the vile lies. But really, that's not a surprise. It's just their convenient excuse to get complete control and subservience from the citizens. Know your place.